Hello, this is Isidro Nielsen, and I'm going to show you how to make a small steam cleaner for your jewelry by using a small inexpensive coffee maker. In this case, this is an espresso maker which I found at a thrift store, and I think it was $6 or $7. It was very cheap, and I tested it. It actually works. You can make coffee, but so if you have one already, you don't need to buy one, and because you're not going to actually hurt the machine by making the modifications that I'm going to show you. One of the first things that you want to do is you want to make sure that up here it does have a pressure relief valve. This is in case the pressure builds up too much. Rather than explode and cause problems, it will relieve the pressure and you'll get the water and steam leaking from around the cap, which is not a big deal. So it's a very good safety feature. Make sure that the unit that you get does have a pressure relief valve, and you want to make sure that it's not stuck and functioning. What I did is I took a Phillips screwdriver, a sharp point, and pushed on this little ball, and it's like a spring-loaded ball bearing. And when you push on it, it would relieve the pressure, and the pressure is what causes it to move. But if it's stuck, then it could build up a pressure higher than it's intended. So always be safe, always wear safety glasses, and make sure that the pressure relief valve is working. Okay, the next thing that you want to look at is this little coffee compartment. Actually, this is two units in one. It's like a funnel with a handle, and inside the funnel there is a filter. It's perforated metal at the bottom. You put your coffee in here, you put it in the funnel, and you bolt it into here. Actually, it screws in, and then you make your coffee. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take this little filter, we're going to remove it. What I did is I laid it on top of a piece of aluminum, and I traced it so I knew just how big it was going to be. Then I took my jeweler's saw and I cut out the circle. You can see right here. What I did after this, I filed the edges a little bit so it wouldn't have any irregular edges, and kind of rounded the top and bottom edge a little bit to make it a little safer. And here it is. So this is the only modification you're doing. You're just going to make a little disc, and that disc is going to fit inside, or actually on top of this section, in place of the filter. And what that does is it's going to go right up against this seal. Normally this coffee holder is what goes up against there to prevent the water from leaking out. It's got a rubber seal. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace it. We're going to put the aluminum disc that we cut out and put it there, and after we do that, we're going to reposition the funnel. So now nothing can actually get through because we've actually blocked off that place where the water comes through to filter through the coffee. And we have a pressure relief valve that's working, so we know that it's going to be safe. And then next step is you could remove, or you could leave it on. This is a little cap that they put on the end of the steamer to, I think the purpose of it is to prevent the steam from flying up at you when you're putting it inside a cup to make to heat up the water or the milk or whatever it is you're going to be stirring up in there. In my case, sometimes I leave it on, sometimes I take it off. If I want a lot of steam at one time, I take it off. So the next step is take the cap off, fill up the container that comes with it, put the water in it, and put the cap back on. Make sure it's nice and tight, and make sure that the valve right here is closed. Usually it's clockwise. It always has a little symbol here. It tells you to make sure that it's closed. And then the next step is just turn it on. So you just flip the switch on, and you wait a few minutes. You'll start to hear it gurgling, and if the pressure builds up too far, you'll see a little bit of dripping that comes from around the valve here, or the seal. I've never had the pressure relief valve relieve pressure. It always seems to leak a little bit before, right through here. So that's kind of my signal. When I start to see a little bit of leaking through here, I go ahead and I open the valve and the steam starts to come out through here. I set up a little test here. I have a piece of jewelry at the end of a pair of tweezers, and I'm opening the valve and nothing's coming out yet, even though I hear the gurgling. So I go ahead and close it again and not a couple minutes, actually it's usually not more than a minute, and then I'm going to turn the crank and open the valve again, try it one more time, and there's a little bit of steam coming out. So it's just about ready. It's actually working right now. But if you close the valve again and wait a little bit longer, you get a much better steam out of it. Here we go. There's a lot more steam now. I waited a little bit longer, open the valve, and there it is. Steam cleaning the little piece of jewelry that you've got. This is a really tough one. This is a knot ring that I make, and I used to use a toothpick to dig out the little bits of polishing compound that get embedded in between the knot. Well, this steam cleaner works wonders. You just give it a few shots of steam and it really does the job. It takes care of, it cleans it really well. And it's much easier than having to dig it out with a toothpick. There's another shot of steam, and you can actually see now you could also steam your coffee. It's still functional, so it's a great little modification of an espresso maker to clean your jewelry. And these are all the parts. The only thing we've added is that disc. The thickness of the disc, this one's a little bit heavy, and it doesn't have to be as thick as this. I think this is 1/8 of an inch, and it causes this funnel to just barely grab. You can't twist it on far enough, but so make sure that it does twist on and that it's going to stay before you actually use it. If it doesn't, then you want to use thinner material to make sure that you can tighten up this little crank here to make sure that it's really snug. And that pretty much takes care of it. So have fun steam cleaning and enjoy it. Thank you from Isidro Nielsen for listening to another one of my videos on making jewelry tools. I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to check out some of my other tools that you can make at Making Jewelry Tools, and also the jewelry that you can make at makethisjewelry.com. So thanks again, and do stop by again.